Welcome back to Oktane 2025. I'm Adrian Sanabria here with Cyber Risk TV, and joining me again, Mandy Logan. How you doing, Mandy?
Fantastic. I mean, I actually really like how they started Wednesday later in the day and kind of this build up into the full day today.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a nice transition.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, nice slow roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like I like starting a little bit later in the day. Like if you do keynotes at 8 a.m., a lot of people are going to miss it. But I was also looking at the agenda. I like how much stuff that they're doing online as well.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. And I'm glad that we get this opportunity because here we're presenting more information that will be available online. And I like that we and other partners with Okta get to augment what Okta themselves are showing here at Oktane, and we get to bring in our own perspective.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm really excited about some of the interviews planned for today because they are with Okta customers, not with Okta themselves.
Right.
And getting to have that different perspective from people who are out there making sure that Okta has integrated, figuring out how to use it and seeing the advantages, while we all know we're discussing security in the age of AI, integration and adoption. So I'm really excited about a number of the customer interviews coming up today.
Yeah, me too. There's only so much you can talk about how amazing your product is, how it's going to solve all the problems and stuff like that. Like you want to hear from people who have actually deployed it, used it, talk about what it, not what it's going to do, but what it has done for customers. So it's exciting that, and those come in all forms. There's customers just presenting by themselves, so kind of their experiences, doing implementation, solving problems, and then fireside chats, I think, between Okta staff and customers.
Yes, absolutely. And then here at our desk, I'll get to interview Mike Poole, who is the director of cybersecurity for Warner Enterprises.
Okay.
And that is a transportation, logistics company.
Yep.
So going from that, where what he sees in really trying to make an incredible culture of security first in an industry that is not at the cutting edge of technology.
Right, they do have a lot of technology though. Typically on trucks, like they know exactly where they are at any given time. They got to make sure the drivers are taking their, the legally required rest periods, right, for road safety and stuff like that. And I imagine a lot of their drivers are not full-time employees, or maybe 1099 consultants, something like that. So they'll have a mix of identities. And that's always that's one of those big challenges is, contractors aren't secured or handled as well as full employees.
Absolutely.
And see a lot of that.
For me, thinking of that, like trucking and transportation being part of critical infrastructure, it is still what is required because, let's be honest, we could still technically live without AI, but we can't technically live without our food and our fuel and other things getting transported across the nation. And so I'm interested because he's also dealing with a culture of individuals who may not have the same drive to understand why these technologies are impacting them or to understand why they're having to do so many other steps to gain access to what they need. They may not grasp, like, why do we have to keep going through this? So I'm curious to find out what his approach has been. And then contrast that with another interview I have the privilege of doing is with Nitin Raina, who is the CISO of ThoughtWorks. Okay. So now we're talking about ThoughtWorks, which is completely about data and AI development and software development and consults globally. And they are at more of the cutting edge of AI. So how are they using Okta products or adopting AI, or what are they actually moving away from maybe in their security stack that isn't just, we're doing this for the purpose of it sounds good.
Right.
You know?
I'm glad you're going to get a break from AI. Also, I think it's important to remember, and there are some talks to that. Even when we're talking AI, a lot of it is fundamentals, just building new fundamentals for AI. But when I study breaches, it's still the simple stuff. It's still MFA wasn't enabled,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Now that brings up a key point because Mike Poole, one of his main things was that he requires they do monthly phishing exercises. And again, I'm going, well, we're used to that, right? We're used to that. But if you're looking at people who are not around this, like, I am really interested on why he is so convinced that the monthly phishing exercises are proving substantial enough for him to bring it up in what he wants to discuss here at Oktane.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Looking forward to listening to those interviews as you go through them today. Also, there's a ton of stuff going on here. If you remember, Okta brought puppies to RSA. The puppies are back. Puppy Love, I believe, is the name of the organization. They are here, and there are people cuddling puppies right now. Just down the hall. In the expo hall here, you can get custom t-shirts made. McLaren brought an F1 car and F1 simulators that you can jump into. Squid Game VR. I don't know that I'm going to be doing that.
I know, I looked at that. I was
That
like,
sounds
well.
terrifying. Custom vibed DJ chats from... Oh, is he gone?
He was right there. Maybe he's not
Maybe
here yet.
he just moved somewhere
he's
else.
Gone?
We had some custom
he'll be back.
DJ stuff going on yesterday. And and a lot of interesting talks. Okta is going to be talking about their bug bounty initiatives. They're going to be talking about resilience, which I think is important. Like some of the vendors in the vendor hall here, a lot of these are like technological partners with Okta. So like there's a company here that just backs up your Okta stuff. If there's some kind of outage or something like that, they save all your configs,
Nice.
your identity fabric, right?
Nice. The identity
so that
fabric.
you can restore it if something happens.
Yes. Now going back to that, like, of course, I definitely want to recommend that everybody look at the announcements because there were so many huge announcements that dropped this morning.
I hope some of your interviews are going to cover some of those announcements today.
Absolutely. I think one I'm really interested in is the cross app access? Yes. XAA.
Abbreviated XAA.
XAA. That's one I'm zeroing in on, and I'm intrigued to find out from their side, since the developers with Okta knowing why this is such a huge addition. I'm very curious to find out about that. Are there any others that you noticed?
And this is XAA is one of these fundamentals.
Right.
So it's not an entirely new protocol. It's an extension to the existing OAuth protocol that they've made to make it work better for AI agents. So I'm excited to hear more about how that's going to work. A lot of the new stuff they're creating are not necessarily all new. A lot of them are enhancements for AI agents, because handling AI agents is going to be different. How we handle those privileges, I don't think we end up handling them like humans. So that's been a big question is, when AI agents do stuff, do they do it with a service account that's perpetual, that's always exists? Or is it more like an ephemeral thing, like the way we use containers in the cloud, where the moment it's done, containers destroyed, access tokens are destroyed, even if somebody steals them, because they're so short-lived, you can't do anything with them. Or is it going to be somewhere in between that? And I think a lot of that is still... we're not 100% sure. Like, we're going to have to see what people are using these agents for. So maybe some of them are long-lived, some of them are short-lived.
Right.
But they are actually building a lot of these announcements. Like trying to think what else here. XAA is a big one. Universal Directory will be used to manage the agents. So again, if these things are going to be ephemeral, you have to handle that a bit differently. Like if you're onboarding a new AI agent 10 times a second, that's, you can't have the same UI, UX. You can't monitor the same way you do with an employee, which
for sure.
You only onboard, maybe 10 employees a month for a mid-sized enterprise.
Well, and don't you assume that the agents are going to be a little bit more efficient than a human in carrying out tasks?
Yeah.
Just so you can have the rapidity of
Yeah.
changes from an agent that a human wouldn't technically be capable of.
Well, it was the same thing with the cloud, right? Like traditional asset management, we assumed assets would last for years because they're physical things, physical pieces of hardware that either sat on somebody's desk or we racked them in the data center. But then we, enter containers, and we're creating. Some companies might create and destroy thousands of containers every single day.
Yeah.
Right. Like imagine that traditional dashboard. With that amount of noise going through, it would just break it, right? So we had to build new tools for that.
So with all of it, what that makes me go to is the amount of alert fatigue for CISOs and teams.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to summarize. You've got to, you've got to throttle this stuff to where, I mean, we're going to have to rebuild dashboards for identity, specifically for AI agents, if we're going to be creating and destroying thousands a day, if they are going to start looking more like containers. So those traditional identity dashboards aren't going to work for AI agents.
No, and that brings up another question about then removal, making sure that when they are completely decommissioned, that it is
and that's a problem for humans today. Like that, when I study breaches, it's still a very common thing. The bad guys got in using this account that should have been deleted years ago. Right. But we missed it for whatever reason. Again, because contractors are handled different. It's a different workflow. It wasn't as well nailed down as our full-time employee offboarding workflow. So it's going to be an issue for AI agents as well.
It is. So what else were you interested in? Did you notice, and did you get a chance? I know we've been so happily involved in what we're doing, but have you gotten to speak with anyone that's already attending?
Not really. Not too much yet.
Not yet, because it's
I'll have as you're interviewing, I'll have a chance to do some of that. I might have a chance to check out some of the talks. So,
good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do some of that. So I have something to talk about when we wrap up later today.
When we come back, yes.
Yeah.
Then you'll get to update
so
me
I'm
and
going to be
audience.
absorbing as much as I can between now and then, and before we do the Enterprise Security Weekly later, which is
exciting.
Yeah,
we get to do ESW live right here.
It's a very different feel doing it in person.
It is.
Like the ability to have a conversation is so much easier when you're not virtual.
Yes.
You don't need these long pauses to make sure you're not talking over someone else. So it's using body language, eye contact.
Yes.
Very different.
Very different.
Also they've announced both some auditing functionality here, OIG, Okta Identity Governance. So that creates the audit trails that then their identity threat protection can look for behavioral analytics and things like that. And not only detect funny stuff going on, but also correct it. So you can set guardrails and things like that with identity threat protection.
I do love self-healing. That is very good.
I mean, again, it's going to depend on the workflow. I think a lot of enterprises are very hesitant to automate any kind of workflow that automates something in production. That whether you're killing accounts or disabling accounts, there's very much this fear that you're going to break things and you're going to have downtime.
Yeah.
And so again, I think for anytime we're talking about setting automated guardrails, a lot of testing has to go into that to make sure that it's not going to cause any problems.
Okay. So OIG, that's where we're going to definitely focus on learning OIG.
OIG, ITP, there's going to be so many three-letter acronyms.
I know.
And then, of course, we have posture management. Identity security posture management is another one we're going to hear a lot about today. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff here. And I assume you are talking to some Okta folks, not just customers?
Yeah, I am. So aside from the awesome interviews I got to do yesterday with Okta officials, yes, there will be a little bit more. And then I'm intrigued to see what else they do in the wrap from their entire media coverage as well. And I can't forget our counterpart, Paul, who is doing the written side of this and is always very good at following through on what the keynotes are presenting, what is going on, and staying on top of here's why this matters.
Paul W., not to be confused with Paul A.
Paul W., yes. Paul Wagon.
Yeah, not the Paul Security Weekly.
Not Paul Asadorian.
Yeah.
although we would adore if Paul Askarine was with us, but Paul Wagensale is here and doing wonderfully. So.
All right, so busy day today. Today is the big day. There's still some stuff going on tomorrow, but I think we will conclude our coverage today, later today. So I'm looking forward to doing that wrap up. Looking forward to the podcast. And you may not need to hear this if you're already watching this live, but you can find all our coverage at securityweekly.com/Oktane. And that's all for the intro for today. We've got some interviews coming up soon, so stick around for that.
Stick around. Let's get to it.